Well, the weekend has begun, and we can only do so much. So today we're going to be doing three reviews from three different promotions. The first one is from Oz Academy. This is their much recent show that happened earlier this month of March in Shinjuku Face. It features, of course, the main event, the Oz Academy tag team belts on the line. Stardom's very own Koguma and Azuki, better known as FWC, defend the belt against OWC, the Osaka girls, Momoka Anazono and Isuki Aoki. So that's going to be a very interesting match to go on. And then we move on with starting with their much recent show in Tokorozawa, featuring of course the main event, Tam Nakano teaming up with Sayuri Anu to take on Hate members, of course, Sei Kamitani and Izuza Inaba. And then finally AEW Collision, featuring many matches. Mercedes Mone in action. We even have, of course, Jamie Hayter making her return. Originally, she was supposed to face Queen Aminata, but later faces against Billy Starks. Then we have Dax Harwood versus Wheeler Yuta, and the whole shebang. And then, of course, as always, we will cap up our episode as usual with some news updates to give you guys updates on what's been happening in the world of pro wrestling, such as what events the promotions are thrown out, who's booked, what matches are set, including developments that are happening in the world of wrestling as we speak. So, let's get ready for another episode of Deleted Wrestle Zone.
Are you ready? Get up, get up! 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 Get up, get up!
Hey everyone, welcome to Deleted Wrestle Zone, all things that is pro wrestling with AEW, NXT, New Japan Pro Wrestling, TNA, the National Wrestling Alliance, various promotions, wrestlers, matches, and championships. I am your host, J-Rod here. So, if you are new to the channel, welcome. This is a channel where we do a lot of pro wrestling reviews from various promotions, not only here in the United States, but also in Japan, Mexico, Canada, Europe, the UK, anywhere in the world pro wrestling is not as big, but it continues to grow. We also, of course, do discussion videos, talk about various topics such as the wrestlers themselves, the promotions, factions, storylines, whatever we want to talk about. We also, of course, do more news updates. If certain information was unable to be on this episode, we can either put it on the next one or on a separate video by itself. We also, of course, do real-timing news updates to keep you guys on alert if something has happened in the world of wrestling that needs to be addressed ASAP. We also, of course, got the Unagi Sayaka Watch and various other cool wrestling content as well. So if you like what you see, please subscribe to us or click on that subscribe button. You'll be getting a lot of daily reviews and other cool wrestling content as well. But if you like this episode, please give us a like on the like button or a nice comment in the description down below. Now, enough with the pleasantries. Let's call this meeting into order. So, let's begin with our first review, and this is from Joshi Promotion Oz Academy. Okay, Oz Academy, Crimson Vengeance. This is their much recent show that took place earlier this month on March 9th in Shinjuku Face. Now, of course, we had Mayumi Ozaki, the boss, who was doing a promo. However, she wasn't even wrestling in this night's event. However, she will be behind stage as always. However, of course, we have Ryu Mizunami and her tag partner Sonoka Kato and their newest friends, Aisuki Aoki and Momokana Zono. So I don't know what's going on, but however, we do know that Momokana Zono and Iyuki Aozuki will be facing, of course, FWC for the tag belts. But we'll get to that in a bit. Now let's begin with our first match. We have, of course, coming in from Colors, Rina Amikura. As you all know, she was out on injury, but later now she's back. Um, she showed up a pretty good new wrestling gear, a bit more like Wonder Woman stylish, from what I can tell, but I liked it. However, she faces against Ram Kaicho, someone you all know. She is someone you don't want to underestimate, knowing the fact that she can through stars or, of course, the ectoplasma. However, Ram Kaicho was able to pick up the win when she applied a crucifix. One, two, three. It was done. Next up, we have tag team action. We have Zones teaming up with Rina Amikura to take on Kohaku from Wave and, of course, Coyote Yonayama. Now, of course, we can see a bit of this of some factors when it comes to strength. You look at Zones and Rina Yamashita; they kind of have that factor. But when it comes to, of course, Yonayama, who is another factor using her speed, that always tells it all. Kohaku, who's been developing a little bit of speed, also has a bit of a powerhouse. But however, it was of course Kohaku with a Kuma roll onto Zones, and just like that, one, two, three, it was over. Now, our next match, we have an interesting six-woman tag team match. We have Sayori Ano, Tsubasa Kurigaki, and Akino taking on Jaguar Yokota and H2D, consisting of Sonoka Kato and Ryu Mizunami. Now, the match went pretty well the way it handled it. Remember, Sayori Ano is no longer part of what was used to be Osaki Gun, and she's been in depressed mode ever since she was unable to win the Oz Academy Openweight belt. However, Akino decided to have her be part of her life or try to guide her to where she needs to go. However, it was Akino who picked up the win on Mizunami. Now, of course, many of you don't know this. Mizunami is a double champion. Along with Kato, she is the Sendai Girls Tag Team Champions, but however, she is the open weight champion from Oz Academy. So Akino could challenge it, but however, it seems from my expression, from what I'm observing, it seems that Akino is giving that opportunity to Sayuri Ano. Now, Akino has challenged for this belt before, but Ano is the only one who hasn't challenged, has not won that belt yet. I wouldn't be surprised saying, hey, since I won, you take it. You deserved it more. So, most likely that. However, that wasn't the only case that Ryo Mizunami has to deal with. Now, remember, if I told you this, in the last episode, I reviewed Marvelous, and of course, Magenta issued a challenge for the tag belts. Well, it appears that they showed up prior to before this event, and I did not know that. So it seems like they already made their play long before the 27th event that took place. So it would make sense. So obviously. Now, our next match, we have Unagi Sayaka taking on Kakeru. Well, of course, Effin Cop was going to be there helping out that idiot. But however, Akino tried to help as much as possible since that. But apparently there was a misfired. Akino accidentally bitch slap Unagi that it was meant for Kakeru. But I don't know how Unagi would feel about that, getting slapped accidentally. But hopefully they can figure this one out. But unfortunately, Kakeru actually won by applying a lariat, and just like that, one, two, three, it was over. Now on for our main event, we have the Oz Academy Tag Team Belts. OWC. For those who don't know this, Momoko Nozono and Izuki Aoki are from Osaka. As for FWC, many of you may or may not know, Koguma and Ozuki are originally from Fukuoka, and they're not the only ones. So is, of course, Micah. But however, that's what means like Fukuoka double crazy, and I think we got the Osaka double crazy. But however, you may ask yourselves, would FWC lose this belt? Because of course, we know that Izuki Aoki and Momoka have been regulars of Oz Academy for quite some time. However, that didn't do any well because it was a misfired again. This time with Momoka Nozono when she tried to use the bubble machine onto Azuki, but hit accidentally Aoki. But it was Azuki with his strong onto her, and just like that, 1, 2, 3, it was over. But we did see at the end, of course, I'm going to presume Kurigaki and Kahaku seems like their interest in challenging for the Oz Academy tag team belts. So we'll see what happens. But as of right now, we are officially done with Oz Academy. Let's move on with Stardom. Okay, Stardom in Tokorozawa. This was their much recent event. As you know, there's a 2-day event, a show taking place. Um, the first match we have Yuri Him and Ryan taking on EXP members Mina Shirakawa and Micah. Now remember, guys, Mina is leaving Stardom by the end of this month, and she'll be making her way straight to AEW. However, many of you would think this would be her last chance to see what the rookie girls can do. But it was, of course, unfortunately, Yuria Him who actually ended up on the wrong side of Mina's figure four leg lock, and of course, she had no choice but to tap. However, Mina put out a promo and she did ask a simple question to both Rian and Yuria Him. Yuria Him said that she wants to win, of course, the white belt, but at the same time, she would like to, of course, go to overseas. So basically, she wants to be like Mina in some capacity. But yet, we haven't heard anything what she wants to do, like which faction she would join. Many people think she would join with EXV, but we'll see. As for Rian, she said that she would like to win the future belt, but at the same time, she would like to win the high speed belt. So Mina kind of course, gave her their blessing, saying, then proceeded. That's what you guys need to do. So that pretty much how it ends right there. Our next match, we have, of course, singles action. We have rookie Akira Kurigani taking on Rina. Now, of course, Rina, as you know, she is a strong, capable wrestler. But I can tell you she picked up the win by applying a submission, and that's how she picked up the win, just like that. Next up, we have EXV members and the current New Blood Tag Team Champions, Rice or Bread. Hanako and Waka Tsukiyama taking on, of course, Ane Kanaya taking on, and of course she teams up with Neo Genesis Miyo Amasaki. Miyo Amasaki. So it's basically you can tell how this match was gonna go, regardless. But it was of course Hanako who picked up the win with a big lariat onto Kanaye, and just like that, 1, 2, 3, it was over. Now, our next match, we have our Cosmic Angel members, our Cinderella winner, Sayaka Kurara, our Sendai Girls Junior World Champion, Aya Sakura, and of course, future High Speed Champion, Yuna Mizumori. They take on star members Momokogo, Koguma, and Azuki. So you probably can guess how this was going to go. As you know, there's been some bit of history between recently with Momo Kogo and Yuna Mizumori. If you guys know this or not, those two have aimed for the high speed belt on multiple occasions and failed. It seems that this is like another attempt for who's going to be the upper hand to challenge that. And of course, it was Yuna Mizumori when she applied the Supergirl on Momokogo, and just like that, 1, 2, 3, it was over. So right now, once again, Momokogo may have lost one opportunity. Hopefully, maybe she gets noticed for a shot of this belt, but we'll see where that leads us. Next match, we have Hate members Raka, Konami, and Natsuko Tora taking on Star members Saya Ida and Hanan, our current Goddesses champions, and of course the icon and the current IWGP Women's Champion Mayu Iwatani. Now, of course, we all know the kind of things, of course, that Hate are. They are very vicious. They like to do dirty tactics to ensure that they win by softening up their opponents. But however, in this match, it was none other than the Icon that picked up the win with the moonsault onto Raka. And just like that, 1, 2, 3, it was over. Now, our next match, we have God's Eye members, Rana Yagami, Lady C, Tomoka Inaba and Hina, they take on Tabata, and she teams up with Neo Genesis Azumi, Meisera, and Suzuki. Now, many of you know have you've been watching what's been going on with Neo Genesis. As you know, they've been dealing with some misfires and miscues recently, and of course, resulting in Zuzu getting pissed. However, that kind of situation occurred during the ring when, of course, Zuzu accidentally got in the fit, accidentally misfired onto Zuzu, and May tried to reason with her, but things got out of hand. While Zuzu and May were dealing with each other in the ring, it was of course Rana Yagami with a somewhat of a buzzsaw kick onto Tabata, and just like that, 1, 2, 3, it was over. However, during the post-match promo, Azumi is like the type of person who's saying, "Hey, I don't know what's going on with you guys, but you guys need to get your shit together." So that's like giving that tough love type of attitude. So we'll see, because we know the next day they will be teaming up again. Our main event: Cosmic Angel members Sayuri Ano and Tam Nakano taking on Hate members Azusa Inaba and Sayaka Mitani. Now remember, this is a prelim match between Sayaka Mitani and Tam Nakano for the upcoming um what was it event on the 26th of April. However, on April 2nd, Sayuri Ano and Tam Nakano will face each other for a promise that they did 7 years ago. However, Kamitani is determined to destroy Tam and send a message to her saying that very soon this will be the end of her. However, that wasn't the case, because it was Sayuri Ano who picked up the win with the special pottering onto Azusa Inaba, and just like that, 1, 2, 3, it was over. However, of course, Tam kept her promise to Sari Anu, but Sayaka is like, shut up, enough of this. Just remember this. We're almost there, and I'm going to send you straight to hell. So that's what she is aiming. She doesn't want to hear this crap. All she cares about saying, one way or the other, Tam, I'm getting rid of you once and for all. So we're still not there, but she's not letting her breathe easily. And of course, the Cosmic Angels closed down the show, and just like that, it was over. So, as of right now, I think we're done with Stardom. Let's do our last and final review: AEW Collision. Okay, our last review: AEW Collision. We opened up with the AEW Women's World Champion Toni Storm doing her promo. As you all know, her she may be outmatched against Megan Bayne. Basically, as you know, Megan Bayne defeated her in a tag match this past Wednesday. So she's been saying how hurt and frustrating she's been. But, however, when things were going what she was trying to do her dramatic promo or something, well, penalty before the attack, and then of course Megan Bayne showed up and applied the Fate Descent, and just like that, it was message received. Now, the Death Riders are initiating, acknowledging what's been going on. As you know, Claudio, along with Pac and Wheeler Yuta, will be defending the AEW World Trios titles, and of course, Claudio, used references from Copeland's old past by calling that he lost his edge. That all you've been doing is coping. So basically, using that, and of course, Marina Shafir, her issues towards Willow, and then of course, John Moxley, he has to deal with Swerve Strickland. So we'll see where that goes. Our first official match, we have Jay White, the Switchblade, taking on the debut of Kevin Knight. As you probably already heard right about now, Kevin Knight is, of course, been confirmed by Tony Schiavone during commentary that he is all elite. And we'll be talking a little bit about him during our news updates. However, of course, Kevin Knight is one amazing wrestler, and I think that's something we look forward to it. However, he was no match for the Switchblade when he applied the Blade Runner, and just like that, 1, 2, 3, it was over. However, during the post-match promo, Jay White tries to get the fans to give a standing ovation to Kevin Knight. But he did tell him that maybe next year you can join the Owen Hart tournament, which of course something that Jay White has been set. Now remember, no names have been announced, but their names have been put in the hats who wants to participate. So we'll see where that leads. Now, our next match, we have Mercedes Mone versus Robin Renegade. Well, you can tell that this match ended with Mercedes, and first she applied the money maker, then the statement maker, and just like that, Robin tapped out and it was over. So the CEO won the match. However, it appears, as you know, that Mercedes Mone has one thing in mind, and that is the Owen Hart Cup tournament. But however, as you know, she faced against Billy Starks recently and decided to disrespect the person who trained her. Well, that person who trained her was nothing more than Athena. So basically, that what was happening. However, it was also foretold that, as Mercedes is going to apply to join the Owen Hart tournament, there was a bit of a video promo with Athena and Billy Starks, where of course Athena was revealing she's entering the Owen Hart tournament. So basically, she wants to obtain the AEW Women's title as well, like be a belt collector as well. Now, we did see an interview with Queen Aminata where she has given an update that because she hurt her wrist, she's unable to compete. She was supposed to face uh, Jamie Hayter, but however, she was replaced by Billy Starks. However, once again, Serena Deeb was trying to tell her that I told you something like this was going to happen. So it's more like she's trying to take her to school. But I don't know if Queen Aminata will definitely help. Now, our next match, we have the members of the Learning Tree, Big Bill and the Bad Apple Brian Keith taking on Ty Flight. Now, remember, this past Wednesday, Chris Jericho, in fact, was telling them that they haven't succeeded doing anything, and now they're aiming for the AEW World Tag Team Belt. And I can tell you this match ended with, of course, Big Bill applying a choke slam onto Dante, and just like that, it was over. However, during the post-match, crew, Action Andretti and Leo Rush tried to choke them out again until AR Fox intervened and stopped them. So basically, the crew did not get what they wanted, but we'll see what happens from there. Now, we did see an interview with Jamie Hayter conducted by Lex Luger, talks about, of course, her return and her opponent in the main event, Billy Starks. I have to say, she said that she respects her for being the toughest that she's ever seen, that she knows she's been knocked down twice. However, she did warn her. I do not hesitate to, of course, hold back. So, saying that she would do the same thing. Now, we did see a bit of a face-to-face confrontation between Adam Cole and Daniel Garcia. It seems that there's a 20-minute draw. It appears that they want to have their match in Dynasty. No time limits whatsoever. So that is something I kind of figured it was going to go, but can't wait to see it. Now, our next match, we have Dax Harwood of FTR taking on Wheeler Yuta. Of course, Wheeler Yuta, you know how he is. He's trying to use his ways to ensure he wins. However, Wheeler Yuta applied the seatbelt onto Dax Harwood, and just like that, 1, 2, 3, it was over. However, Dax Harwood completely lost it when he was about to clobber the ref. Security tried to detain him, and Cash Wheeler tried to help him, but Dax kind of hit him, and of course, people were saying, "You effed up," so that kind of went down, and Cash just walked up and left. Now, as you all know, Nick Wayne has been very open about what's been going on with Christian Cage. If you guys don't know what I'm referring to, let me explain. In the aftermath of course, Revolution, Christian Cage brought out this nonsense about saying that he told the referee that this match was supposed to be between him and Adam and Copeland for the AEW World title, but for whatever reason, the referee did not do that. He decided to go into a three-way, which was not what he wanted. However, Nick Wayne decided to. That was not part of the plan. Now, my initial thoughts that his plan was, of course, was for Cope to win the belt, and he cashes an opportunity. But he was intending to explain that until he was interrupted by Action Andretti and Leo Rush because they were talking about Fox. If you guys remember, not too long ago, Fox, along with Swerve, attacked him and left him bleeding in a pool of his own blood. So that kind of sets it up right there. But, however, they're trying to he's telling him he's not my business anymore. I moved on. Well, your past is coming and interfering in our business. So it's like they're asking him for help. But Nick has no time for this. He feels that I'm dealing with this thing with Christian. I have no time for this crap. So we'll see what happens. Now, our next match, we have Hologram taking on, of course, Blake Christian. Now, of course, wherever Blake Christian goes, Lee Johnson is not too far. And of course, Lee Johnson gets involved in this match, but luckily Hologram took him out. But it only took a portal bomb by, of course, Hologram to pick up the win. 1, 2, 3. It was over. Now, we did see an interview with, of course, Chris Statlander and Thunder Rosa. They also put their names on the hats of the Owen Hart tournament, which, of course, it's obvious that the women and the men are putting their names on the hat. So we'll see what happens from there. Now, our main event, and of course, if you guys notice, we have two women's match involved in this one. We have Jamie Hayter versus Billy Starks. I mean, Billy Starks did try to put up a fight, but Jamie Hayter was way, way, way too strong, and she took her out with a new combination of the Haterade called the Haterade Colaster or Colaster or something like that. And just like that, 1, 2, 3, over. However, during the post match, Dina was watching this. As you know, they don't apparently, of course, I don't know exactly what's going to happen, but we'll see. But as of right now, we are done with AEW Collision. Let's move on with our last and final thing, news updates. Okay, so welcome to our news updates. So let's get started with upcoming events from the promotions. As always, we have the GCW stuff. Now, two of them has been updated for, of course, their Las Vegas shows. The first is Bloodsport 13 that will take place on the 17th of April. They announced Layla Hirsch will face off against Jordan Blade. So that's going to be a good match. And then, of course, we have Effie's Big Gay Brunch. Well, Effie is going to be making his appearance, and he will be putting the GCW World Championship on the line. So that's pretty much it for that part. Now, we have, of course, two more promotions that will be involved in the Las Vegas event. We have Spork Joshi Puroesu of America for Lady Luck on the 17th. For Vixen has been announced that she will be participating as well. And then, of course, Deadlock Pro Wrestling will be having their title fight in Vegas at the arena that is hosted by Future Stars of Wrestling on the 18th of April. The DPW National Championship will be defended. LeBron Cozono defends the belt against Leon Slater, so that's going to be fun. French promotion, Banger Zone Wrestling, has announced for their Lijou's Saut of Fiats that will happen on the 19th of April. And of course, in France, former WWE superstar Baron Corbin, now known as Bishop Dyer, will be making his debut, which is going to be interesting. And then, of course, we have Maple Leaf Pro Wrestling. As you know, they'll have their upcoming event on May 10th, Northern Rising. There's another name that's been added to the 20-man battle royale for the Maple Leaf Canadian Championship, Rich Swan. So basically, more names have been added. Now, on to developments. Many of you know James Storm, who has been part of TNA for a long time, part of the Americans Most Wanted, and of course, Beer Money. However, as you know, TNA has been entering a partnership with WWE, and James Storm gave his comments about the partnership. He says that he sees that WWE will buy TNA. I mean, there's been talk about that before. Now, don't shoot the messenger, guys. And I get it. Some people don't like WWE. Some people feel like, oh, they're going to screw this promotion over. That sort of thing. And I get it. But that's exactly what he feels. But we'll see. Now, this was reported that Nick Khan said that there has been confirmed that there's going to be a WWE to be hosted as a flagship show in India between 2026 and 2027. So not much information has been told, but we'll get to that. And then finally, I talk about Kevin Knight. As you all know, he is now All Elite. However, another information by PW Insider revealed that he received an invitation for the tryout for WWE at the Performance Center. However, it did not happen. It's been thought that maybe he got a better deal than he could have wanted with WWE. It seems that he took it. So I'm sure many of you from WWE would say he could have been better off with them. Well, it was his choice, his prerogative. But yeah, so that's pretty much it what we have for our news update. So let's just call it a day. Well, I hope everybody enjoys this episode. Coming up, I haven't decided yet what's going to happen for the next episode. I am behind on WXW, All Japan, and a few other events. So I'm going to try to catch up as soon as possible. So we'll see what happens. So on the next episode, I'm just going to wing it. So until then, I will see you guys in the next DWZ time, same DWZ channel. I must bid all of you adieu. So goodbye, and have a nice day.